While those in the barrage continuously commented on the path to riches, Chu-Che calmly closed the bag of money with black lines on his face. What a hassle! Does Tasker Chu wish to deposit the reward money into his card account? Note: the money can be withdrawn anytime from the ATMs whenever Tasker Chu feels like it. Chu-Che felt happy. It was like having a real bank account. He rubbed his chin and nodded. Let's do that. As you wish, Tasker Chu. Ding. Account credited. Tasker Chu, for submitting your second item, 10 billion silver coins, 1 million gold coins, will be rewarded to you. Silence. Graus zero graus. The barrage was speechless. Wait. His second item was some green flame. So he got 10 billion silver coins for it? They admit that the flame was located in a very dangerous spot. But 10 billion was an overkill, all right? They had never seen so much money in their lives. Many didn't know the value of the flame and didn't understand why it was so rewarding. But if Chu-Che took this flame and showed any alchemist or sect elder face to face, they might sell all their possessions just to have it. Nianzhu and Songhai couldn't tell the actual worth of it because they weren't there to feel the power from the flame. They were just watching the live broadcast as if watching T.V, so they assumed it was an ordinary flame. They could only feel a fraction of Chu-Che's power and nothing more. But looking at the reward, they felt their assumptions were far from the truth. Now, even thinking about it, they had never heard or seen any green flames before. In this domain, the lowest flames were reddish-orange ones, which were ordinary everyday flames used by common folks and have no use in cultivation. Above that were pure reddish flames in different shades, depending on how powerful they are, with the lightest reddish ones being the most powerful ones. Following that would be yellow-colored flames in different shades, and finally blue. Searching their memories, the green flame was indeed unheard of. They squinted their eyes deep in thought, while Chu-Che, on the other hand, was more focused on rounding up and getting his next reward. That's right. The fun wasn't over yet. Does Tasker Chu wish to deposit the money into his membership card? Yes. Ding. Account credited. Tasker Chu, your last submission had 2 rewards. You shall get the other half of your reward, a random item from a fantasy world. Please wait briefly, and in 5 breaths, the item will appear. Countdown begins now. Chu-Che's heart trembled excitedly, as if secretly counted in his mind. As an otaku, how could he not be thrilled when seeing the real thing and not some movie or fan prop? Everyone in the barrage held their breaths while staring at the glass tube intensively. When the voice mentioned the fantasy world, it was talking out those other realms, right? So Boss Chu will receive an item from either Mortal Kombat or God of War. Just thinking about it made their eyes burn with envy. The items in those realms were too high quality and couldn't be created by people in the lower domain. So who wouldn't be envious? Even Songhai and Nianzhu felt like Boss Chu was too lucky. Nonetheless, many didn't have any bad intentions. After all, they felt it was only fair given all the creatures Boss Chu took out. Everyone secretly counted down in their hearts while watching the tube without blinking. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ding. Congratulations, Tasker Chu. You have been awarded the ancient golden scepter of Elder God Shinnok, also called the Amulet Staff or Amulet of Shinnok. Poof! A golden chain with a dark green stone at its center suddenly appeared in the tube like magic. Chu-Che held out the chain before smiling playfully. Expand! Boom! The chain suddenly expanded and turned onto a thick staff that touched the high-rise ceiling. Everyone felt dizzy from the scene before them. What was this? Although some had heard and even seen staffs or items that expanded, none could expand more than spear length. So what was this? Chu-Che looked like an ant holding a giant staff. Do you know how tall the current floor he was standing in was? It was akin to 3 floors high, and coupled with the drone's shooting capabilities, many were instantly blown away. This was too godly, right? Sigh. They give up. The shock they had received was enough to give them heart attacks. Chu-Che chuckled before controlling the staff again, adjusting its size to spear length. Poof! Now everyone could see the details on the staff. Chu-Che thought that the staff looked like a golden trident with a large circle at its center that contained a glowing green gem. Tasker Chu. The amulet of Shinnok will only listen to your voice or thoughts and obey your every command. No one else can command or steal it. It will always stay on your neck, or can be changed into a bracelet or an earring if need be. As for its powers, there are many. Firstly, just from wearing the amulet alone, all chi absorbed onto the body will be turned into the purest form of all, and any impurities in the body, be it poison, will be removed. Additionally, the amulet also acts as a teleportation device. The tasker only needs to think of where they have once been, and the amulet will teleport them there, even if it's the upper realm. Provided the amulet wielder has visited the place once and remembers it, then they can teleport there. Lastly, the amulet has the power to absorb chi and unleash waves of crimson energy, instantly killing those below the wielder's strength. In conclusion, this is a reward. Hence, the amulet rewarded has no negative effects on the wielder and is a great. Note, unlike the amulet in Mortal Kombat, one cannot teleport to the past or the future, only places in the present time, and the amulet will have no repercussions or weaken the user. Again, the number of times one can teleport depends on strength. Likewise, the number of people they can teleport will also depend on their strength. Tasker Chu. That is all. Chu Che nodded calmly, while everyone in the barrage felt like they were dreaming and started at the amulet in disbelief. Lying trough. Why don't you also say that the amulet is their father? Lying trough. Why don't you also say that the amulet is their father? Everyone stared at their cards so intensively as if to enter the cards. If it could do all this, they wanted to know the criteria for getting such godly artifacts from those new realms. Of course, tomorrow, which marked the first day when the mission hall would publicly open, they'll know all about this. For starters, they needed to earn a certain amount of points to get a single chance for a random item draw. Just like that, Chu Che left the mission hall with Wei Wei. He had successfully completed the system's side mission, and had even gotten the amulet and cash. And the good thing was that he didn't have to lose the gaming hall. Well, that was the punishment if he failed to complete the mission. From the broadcast, Boss Chu said he would come here. Knowing that Chu Che was headed towards the gaming hall, almost everyone stopped what they were doing and stood outside impatiently. Some who were away ran through the streets at top speed, and the moment they saw Chu Che's silhouette, many dashed toward him like crazy. Boss Chu, please show us the amulet. Boss Chu, can you teleport with me? Little Wei Wei, it's me, your sister. How cute. Little Wei Wei is just the best. Boss Chu, please take me in as your disciple. I can cook, clean, and specialize in carpet training. Yes, I can lie on the floor and be your carpet. You bastard. Why are you taking my position as Boss Chu's carpet? It's clearly my responsibility. So are you trying to snatch it away from me? Heh, what a joke. Since when did it become your job? Please, don't sully the job position with your ignorance. ****. Chu Che almost stumbled speechlessly before feeling sad. Sigh. Blame it on his face for causing such a riot. The curse was real. Chu Che treated it as if it were a common occurrence. What could he say? At the same time, listening to all the comments, little Lulu was even more convinced that her sex sisters couldn't meet up with her big brother Chu in terms of strength. She continuously felt pity for them, shaking her head bitterly. Nianzu and Songhai were the fastest to dash towards Chu Che, looking at the amulet around his neck anxiously. Just from the craftsmanship, they could tell that it was indeed heavenly. But they couldn't feel any power from it. Why? Boss Chu, can you activate it? Graus underline graus. Silence. The moment the question echoed out, everyone became silent, not even daring to breathe. They froze on the spot and watched intensively. Chu Che didn't mind their requests, so he commanded the amulet to activate and expand. Instantly, the air became very choking. It was like someone had unleashed a beast from another higher realm or something. Even though there was no killing intent from it, everyone's knees turned soft from its magnificent aura. Nianzu and Songhai trembled in shock as they looked at the glowing stone at the center of the staff. Chu Che hadn't stopped broadcasting yet, so to further demonstrate things, Chu Che waved the staff right before everyone's eyes and disappeared alongside Nianzu and Songhai. Everyone looked around in confusion. What was going on? Look, look. Boss Chu has returned to the city where he found little Wei Wei. What? Let me see. I wipe. He also carried those two seniors too. Bosu looked at the scene, feeling very aggrieved. Why didn't Boss Chu take him? Nianzu and Songhai, who were with Chu Che, looked around the city as if trying to make sure that it wasn't an illusion. And before they could even dwell on the matter, they found themselves standing before the gaming hall again. At this point, everyone had confirmed things. So it was true. They could get items from the other realms via the mission hall. Then what were they hesitant about? Many quickly decided to take their first mission tomorrow. Chu Che answered everyone before finally leaving alongside Wei Wei, Old Fru, and a few other guards. Watching him go, Nianzu and Songhai were very perplexed about their next moves. Of course, Bosu and the rest stood beside them silently too. Old Songhai, we must inform the sect master about this place fast. I agree with you. But the question is, who will do the honors? Well, I think it should be you. After all, I have to stay behind and look after my disciples. Songhai opened his eyes in disbelief and sneered. Eh? Say that again. Heh. Old Nianzu, it should be you who goes back. After all, you have a meeting with the elders 3 days from now. Wait, what do you mean by me? You're also part of the meeting too. So what? Who doesn't know that I'm a rebel? I don't want to go. So why should I? TCH. So you think you're the only rebel? How can I go now that I have a chance to study these artifacts? Plus, I felt my blood boil when I entered the realm earlier. You know that I'm already at the peak of my Dan. So just a few more days, and I'll be able to break through. Okay, since we both don't want to go, then why don't we send letters through your disciples? On hearing Songhai, Bosu instantly broke his leg. Master, Elder Songhai, please don't look at me. I'm injured and need time to heal. Little Lulu nodded at them. HMHM. I promised Senior Brother Chu to see him tomorrow. So I can't go. Plus, I'm so little, weak, and cute. What if someone wants to kidnap me? Whoa. Master, you promised to look after me till I grow up. So how can you think of this? Master, you know that I'm in charge of Lulu's feeding. So how can I leave when she decides to stay back? Master, you may not know this, but I recently broke my heart not long ago. So what if I get depressed and lose my way back to the sect? I think for everyone's sake, I should stay back and heal myself. Master, Elder Songhai. Master. Time went by quickly, with people getting hooked on playing games or going out on missions. Even ordinary mortal folks had heard about this mission hall. It was the quickest way to make money, and ordinary folks felt that it protected them in a sense. You little troublemaker. It's so big and too luxurious. Your mother and I don't want to disgrace ourselves. So are you sure that we'll be allowed in? Yes. Ruemo, are you sure we can go in? On the road, an anxious couple asked their son repeatedly about the building before them. For the past 2 days, they heard the rumors from the other local folks that some mighty buildings had somehow appeared in their little town. At the time, they didn't believe it because building something so fast still required the blocks, sand, water, and everything else to be dumped on the site. And one still needed a combination of masters from several cultivator professions to create such things. Take, for example, the surprise collapse that happened a few years ago. Out of nowhere, the walls just collapsed. That was because Chu Che's mother was taken away. None of the town folks knew why, but they had to care for their safety, and so they worked alongside the guards to carry tons of stones, as well as several iron drums of mud, water, and other pasty substances from trees towards the region where the walls used to be. This time, they wanted to make it stronger and thicker, so they needed more stones. Anyway, after everything was placed by the fallen wall, the old town lord, Chu Che's grandfather, invited several otherworldly designers to assist him and Old Fru in putting up the wall in a matter of 3 days. All those people used 3 entire days together to make the wall stand again. Of course, the old town lord had also invited other masters for other professions to assist the otherworldly designers in rebuilding the already destroyed town lord palace. Knowing everything these folks knew, they felt it was just a rumor when many said they saw a godly building stand in their town. Even if it existed, didn't it mean that it was the palace of some powerful lord? So why in God's name was this child taking them over there? The couple felt like their older son was crazy. Ru Moyen rolled his eyes heavenwards and still took them over to the mission hall. No matter how he explained things, their fear blocked their sense of hearing. So he decided they should hear it from the horse's mouth instead. Everyone in this world, be it mortals or cultivators, had spirit roots. It was the very foundation of one's soul and body, which was also associated with a person's innate talents and elemental affinities like metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Of course, those were the 5 elemental attributes most people fell into. But some spirit roots didn't belong to any of the 5 and were rare, or called mutated spirit roots. Everyone was born with a quality of spirit roots/root bones. And testing the roots wasn't expensive and, at times, free too. After all, everyone was always looking for geniuses. That said, many mortals still couldn't break out of their shells because they didn't have the resources that big clans and sets provided. That's why common folk would choose to work in big clans as guards or even servants. At least there, they would still be given pills and primary cultivation resources each month. Cultivation was too expensive. This was why not many in desolate regions like these could break out of their mortal shell. The 14-year-old Ru Moyen came from a family of 4. His parents, himself, and his 10-year-old brother. He heard he had an aunt who married a man in another village far from here. But that was all the family he knew of. For mortals, they were in more danger than anyone else. They never dared not go into the forest and only stayed in the outskirts because that's where mortal beasts stayed. So hunting them would be easier. Mortal beasts wouldn't dare go into the forest because they too would die. So they stayed put on the outskirts. For mortals, accidents happened to them too many times to count. Just traveling could get them killed. And even within the towns and homes, one never knew when a storm would blow in. They were powerless in this cruel world, where even bandits could turn their town upside down with ease, if not for the town lords. That's why they truly valued escape talismans. Of course, even the low-grade ones were too expensive for them. But some still bought them and kept them in their homes as family legacies, passing them on from generation to generation. No one suffered like mortals, not even the cultivators that got schemed against. That said, years back, Ru Moyen, determined to make a change, entered a little deeper into the forest and almost died in the hands of a rank 1 boar. It was only by a stroke of luck that he managed to pierce its eyes before stabbing its neck. He then took its core and exchanged it for a low-grade pill from one of the merchants passing by. Even though he was cheated, he still managed to break past his mortal shell. All this was also due to his innate talent. So in his family, he was the only cultivation among them. And today, he had decided that he must completely take his family out of poverty by having them take on F-class missions. It was the safest and easier to do. Plus, the pay was higher than what they got in a week. So why not? Standing before the massive building that looked like it could touch the clouds, even Ru Moyen's family could feel the reverence emitting from it. At first, they were utterly scared, but seeing some everyday folks run out happy, they were both shocked, confused, and curious. Honestly, whatever their son had told them over the last 2 days had never registered in their minds. Fear was all they thought of. As mortals, they had to keep their heads down and not invite trouble. The 10-year-old boy who came with them thinned his like and held Ru Moyen's shirt with a hint of curiosity in his eyes. "Elder brother, are you sure we can make money from this? You're easily gullible. So what if you've been tricked? Hey, have some faith here, all right? If I say we can, then we can. And with the money, we will be able to get you to break from your mortal shell." Listening to his older brother, Ru Mimo's eyes lit up in shock. "Really? I can be a cultivator too." "Of course you can. When has your brother ever lied to you?" "Brother, there was that time that you lied about." Moyen quickly placed his hands over the kid's mouth helplessly. Only his brother could betray him like this, giving him no face as an elder brother. The kid was too honest. The couple chuckled and patted Mimo's head. "Good boy. You should always tell the truth." Moyen. Y. The family of 4 were just about to head in when they heard a high-pitched voice calling Moyen's name. "Smelly Moyen. We meet again. Damn it." Moyen, who hadn't even turned around yet, already knew the owner of the voice. His proudly raised shoulders quickly dropped helplessly, and with a bitter smile, he slowly turned around. "Little Lulu, can we just drop that matter? Heh, you would like that, wouldn't you? Underscore." The couple turned around only to see the cutest girl they had ever seen in their life. Her skin was too clear and practically outshone everything. Just looking at her, it was clear that she would grow into beauty in the future. By her side were three handsome boys that were slightly older than Moyen. Their appearance made it clear that they were from some influential clan, sect, or society. They even had swords around their waists. So they should be cultivators. No wonder their skin looked like this. These cultivators greeted them with respect, meaning they called their friendship with their eldest son. But now, they were even more curious about what their eldest son had done to anger the cute angel, who was still pouting unwillingly. The 10-year-old Mimo, on the other hand, was more focused on how beautiful the 9-year-old girl looked. He kept blushing so hard that he dared not look at her directly. So he looked away the entire time, trying to act aloof and unbothered. He then looked at his brother in dissatisfaction, wondering how his elder brother could bully such a cute little girl. Moyen caught the look of his brother's dissatisfaction and was left speechless. A little girl comes, and his brother throws their brother good out the window? Sigh. Little Lulu's problem was that he was ahead of her in God of War. Since he became friends with Bosu, she took him as a junior too. So shouldn't she be better than her juniors? The little girl was still grumbling about the matter. Luckily, she was ahead of them in Mortal Kombat, or else it would be game over for him. Fatality. At least now she wasn't that angry anymore. Lulu pouted and acted like she was an old man. "All right, Junior. I, with my infinite mercy, have forgiven you. If I don't do so, then how can you look up to me? Well, no need to kneel and thank me. I am your senior, after all. So I must look after you." Moyen, who had no intention of kneeling, underscore. Mimo looked at Lulu and was even more impressed. What a kind, cute girl. Lulu then turned her attention towards Mimo, stunning him and making him inward agitated, even though his expression remained the same. "Since you are his brother, then you will also be my junior." Why aren't you a cultivator like your brother? "No. As my new younger brother, you must be strong too, or you'll lose my face. Here, take this. You should be able to break through later." Mimo looked at the pill stuffed in his hand and felt uneasy, even though he stood silent with the same calm look. "All right. Now that that's settled, come. Walk beside me. You will be my direct follower." "Okay. Let's go in." Without even thinking things through, Mimo left his brother and walked alongside the naughty Lulu. Everyone, straight face. Bosu apologized pitifully to Moyen and his parents. What could they do? Even they couldn't go against the little girl's wishes. After all, she was indeed their sect senior. The Ru family stepped in and were shocked silly. Bosu took his time explaining a few things to them, focusing on how beneficial this place was to his family. Only when hearing it from Bosu did it register in their minds. Moyen looked at them in disbelief, not knowing whether to cry or not. Someone else says the same thing, and they automatically understand. But when it's him, they're still clueless. "Hello? What was this?" Forget it, provided they calmed down and weren't afraid anymore. Who asked him to be a trickster? The number of times he had pulled a fast one on them was too many to count. Like the time he entered the forest without their knowledge, almost giving his parents a heart attack. Or the time he snuck away in the middle of the night to practice a weak fist technique that he bought off a merchant. He couldn't blame them for always being anxious when it concerns him. But shouldn't they have a little faith in him? Well, at least they were now on the path to riches. And this, many within Wonji town had discovered the path to riches. But while everyone was still fully immersed in glee, unbeknownst to them, a formidable enemy was already storming toward their beloved town. On the main roads, hundreds of people were currently making their way towards Wonji town. Many held their weapons, knowing that today would be the day they took what firmly took their positions within the town. They dashed along the roads, making the traveling peasants shower like headless chickens. They already identified the attires of these people and immediately knew their identities. Some jumped into the bushes as if diving, while others tried moving their horses and carriages out of the way, trying to make their appearances less visible. Some were very confused and just stood rooted on the spot in fright, while others hurried towards the sidelines, picked up leaves, and tried converting themselves with them, even though it made almost no difference. Run! It's the Juong bandits! Run! 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 Plop! Chaos filled the roads as everyone quivered in panic. Who wouldn't? These bandits were notorious and too famous around these parts. And many times they stole and killed travelers, cultivators, and everyone else. Running to them was always bad luck. So many were so terrified by their sudden appearance. Plus, they were hundreds and hundreds of them. This alone was enough to make everyone's hair stand as tall. But when the bandits passed them by without doing anything, they couldn't help wondering if they had just run into frauds. Well, whatever the case, they had to get out of here fast. Ha 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 ha! With Fairy Imu here, we're bound to claim Wanji Town as ours. That is, how can those small fries were any match for Fairy Imu and her men? Finally we, the Juong bandits, will be able to crush those annoying town guards once and for all. F*** King Good. I want to see the look on Old Man Fru's face when our leader finally crushes him. Today, Wanji Town will belong to the Juong bandits. The Juong bandits were ready for action, storming towards Wanji Town in full force. For years, their enemies and the only ones who had been able to suppress them were those from Chu Che's palace. Over the years, the Juong brothers had tried to take over multiple times with no success, especially when Chu Che's mother, father, and grandfather were still here. Now they knew that their chance was here. At first, they wanted to play it safe by poisoning the boy who calls himself the young town lord. But even at that, the brat still refused to die. Now they just decided to do things head-on after inviting Fairy Imu, who was already within the second dan of the spirit realm. That was the spirit realm. To them, that was already mind-blowing, since not many bandits had even reached the 9th dan of the true Qi realm. Their leader was the 10th dan, almost breaking to the 11th. And in these desolate parts, that alone was mighty. So imagine seeing someone as powerful as Fairy Imu. They had nothing but worship in their eyes. Even if she insulted or looked down on them, they still looked at her in awe. The strong were respected, and the weak were disdained. That's just the way things were. Imu and her men dashed alongside Jiang Juong, aka Leader Jiang, and a few more bandit elders. Imu gazed around lazily when advancing as if bored. Our deal is for us to take down the boy, the old man, and a few others, right? Yes, Fairy Imu. With the most powerful people down, the rest would be easy enough for us to handle. Once the job is completed, we will then give you the other half of the rewards. Good. As planned, your men will wait out of the town for our signal. We don't want anyone reporting things fast to them, giving them time to hide or flee. Once we're close to the town, your men will stay in the woods and wait. Fairy Imu said before squinting her eyes coldly. Even to this moment, the job disgusted her. To think she, a 514-year-old lady, would be asked to kill a 16-year-old kid. Sigh. This was one of the missions she secretly swore to never tell or own up to. Her reputation was hit hard just from accepting the mission. Well, at least it should be fast. So she should be able to leave this miserable place and hear back to Rainbow Capital City. Just look at how many of her pets she missed. She hadn't sucked the vitality off my powerful men yet. Now, she was beginning to miss all the chained-up powerful men she kidnapped and kept in her dungeon. One of her primary skills was the ability to suck one's vitality into black qi. So many geniuses had been taken by her and proclaimed missing after falling into her sweet arms. In such a desolate place, it was impossible for her to find a man whose strength appealed to her appetite. Sigh. She missed home. Like that, Fairy Imu and her men were ready to finish their humiliating assignment. Time passed by swiftly, and soon, Imu and her gang found themselves in Wanji Town. They walked in with few thoughts in their minds. First, eradicating Chu Che, followed by Old Fru and a few others. From what the bandits said, Old Fru was akin to Chu Che's shadow. He was always next to his young master, unless ordered otherwise. They planned to just head to the town lord's palace and directly deal with things openly. But just after moving a bit, They heard someone say that Chu Che was doing something called a live stream in some hall. They also heard that he'd soon leave the so-called gaming hall, so they had to hurry up and catch him if they wanted to settle things fast. And so after harshly asking for directions, they finally got to the ordinary-looking gaming hall. Without even wasting any more time, they decided to step in and him. Bastard named Chu, you come out for me. Bastard named Chu, you come out for me. Graus zero graus. Everyone looked at the incoming guests and froze on the spot. The bastard named Chu wouldn't be Boss Chu, right? Who the hell had such courage to go against the sky? Everyone stopped what they were doing to watch the show. Even those logged in on the computers saw the messages on their interface and paused their games to return to reality. Everyone wanted to see who had the guts to try Boss Chu. Could it be that Mr. But Lip had finally found Boss Chu and was here for revenge? No, it was somewhat unlikely. Then who was it? Who dared to try Boss Chu? Damn it. At this moment, they truly wished they had something to eat or drink while watching the show. Some even started broadcasting the scene for many who weren't there or out on missions. If Bo Su and the gang knew what they just missed, they would probably shed tears for days. Of course, Nianzu and Songhai, who had become part of Chu Che's handbags, were undoubtedly in the gaming hall. What a joke! They wanted to study these artifacts found in the other realms, so how dare they leave? They also needed Chu Che around, so that if they got stuck, he could enlighten them further. Everyone's mouth was wide open, gaming Ascent 0, as their eyes widened in alarm, almost falling out of their sockets. And instantly, they saw a dead-drop beautiful lady step in with a few of her goons, who were all dressed in black. For a second, those broadcasting had waves of people entering their channels. F*******. What a beauty. Lying trough. Are we sure that this woman wasn't Boss Chu's wife or something? Upstairs, that's impossible. I admit that she's beautiful, but Boss Chu is way more handsome compared to her. Hey, never let this information get to Boss Chu's ears, or else we'll have another sermon of how handsome he is. I know, right? Before meeting Boss Chu, I thought and felt that I was good-looking. But after meeting him, I only want to kill him even though I respect him. He always thinks I'm jealous of his handsomeness. Upstairs, I thought I was the only one. I had to go back home and stare at my mirror for a few hours to make sure that I'm not ugly. I think you all are right. I don't know what it is, but now, no matter what lady stands here, I'll subconsciously think Boss Chu is better looking than them. Upstairs, please stop using the word think. It's a fact that Boss Chu is way better looking when compared to this lady. Do you all think that it's his fiancée who he abandoned? No. Boss Chu isn't that type of person. The lady is probably here to challenge Boss Chu to a beauty contest. My votes are on Boss Chu though. Same here. Same here. Same. Same. Lulu, Bo Su, and the rest, who were just about to teleport for their mission, instantly froze when they saw the broadcast of Gaol, who was accompanying Nianzu and Songhai. F*******. Why did all good things happen when they were not around? After reading the comments, Lulu looked at the lady and shook her head pitifully. As expected, it wasn't just her sect sisters who wanted her big brother. Everyone wanted to be with him. But no matter how she looked at the lady, she felt that her big brother was better looking. Sigh. Yet another girl whose heart is about to be broken. Lulu thinned her like and looked at Bo Su and the rest pitifully. When we return to the sect, you as juniors must comfort sect sister Kyla, sister Chi Chi, and sister Maven. It's impossible for them to be with elder brother Chu. Bo Su and the rest wonders for why. Bo Su, Yen Jin, and Bin Owo could only nod helplessly. Yes, they would console their sect sisters, not because of Lulu's reasons, but because they had been dragged into this unknowingly. Forgetting about Lulu's heartfelt worry, they focused all their attention on their cards. Without a doubt, Fairy Imu was exceptionally beautiful. Her skin radiated and glowed, without any blemishes whatsoever. Her long, dark hair, her perky lips, her mesmerizing eyes. Everything from her head to her toe could make anyone, be it man or woman, to have a second look. Nonetheless, she didn't have a pure sort of beauty. She gave off the feeling of a lazy, black-hearted beauty instead. All that was left was for her to have black wings on her back. Who was this beautiful lady? And just what did she want with Boss Chu? That was the mystery everyone was concerned with. Bastard named Chu, you come out for me. One of Fairy Imu's men yelled out arrogantly when they stepped in. And after yelling, what came next was shock. What godly master designed this place? Their minds wandered a bit as countless thoughts passed through them. But soon, they calmed down again after thinking things straight. Wasn't it just a space formation array design typically used in the large sects? From the report, the brat's father, who passed away, used to be a genius within the Holy Fountain sect some 20 years ago. It said that he committed some grave sin and was driven out after getting poisoned. So this was probably created by him when he was still at the height of his glory. Yes, after figuring things out, they couldn't be bothered with these people. And the moment they saw Chu Che, their eyes glistened brightly. Seeing that he looked exactly like his portrait, they couldn't help smiling broadly when they saw their target. Fairy Imu tilted her head and crossed her hands across her chest lazily. You are the young town Lord Chu Che? Anything. Fairy Imu smiled seductively. Yes. As a matter of fact, I've been looking for you desperately. Old man Fru. I've also been looking for you. Chu Che opened his mouth in shock and disbelief before covering his chest as if defiled. Look here, lady. What kind of pervert are you? What do you take us for? Not only do you want to refine someone as handsome as me, but you also want old man Fru too. Shameless. You better not stare at me again. I will never like you. Never. Fairy Imu, 0_0. Everyone else, straight face. You better not stare at me again. I will never like you. Never. _. Fairy Imu's lips twitched in annoyance when she saw the little imp back away and look at her as if she were some perverted predator. Hello? She was a beauty whom some men would kill to get. So why would she now turn desperate for some brat? Imu felt like she had never been so insulted in her life. Her nostrils flared, and her cheeks turned red in rage. You little runt. Who the hell is interested in you? Bastard. I'm here to kill you instead. Chu Che opened his eyes in disbelief. Lady. So because you've been turned down, you feel the need to kill? What the hell is wrong with you? How can you be so unreasonable? Chu Che was flabbergasted. Fine. If you're too ashamed that I rejected you, then don't worry. You can tell people that you turned me down instead. All I ask is that you stop dreaming about me, because you and I can never be together. You. Imu stammered in rage while pointing at Chu Che angrily. 2 minutes. All it took was just 2 minutes for this guy to piss her off. She came on here with a calm and collected attitude. But now, look at her. Damn it. What sort of hateful guy did she run into? Even though she didn't care for the brat, she was still very posted off when he said she wasn't his type. She, Fairy Imu, was everyone's type. So what did he mean? Was he trying to say that she was ugly or something? If she planned to give him a quick death earlier on, now she didn't. This bastard deserved to die in the most painful way ever. Very quickly, but goons gritted their teeth and stepped forth in rage. Brat, who the hell do you think you are? Do you know who our mistress is? How dare you insinuate that she would be interested in a lowlife like yourself? Boy, you sure have guts. Our mistress is a famous entity who brings fear to many. So stop dreaming. She squinted her eyes coldly at Chu Che. Little runt. Like I said, I'm here to kill you. I would have given you a painless death. But since you dared to profile me, don't blame me for being ruthless. With that, Fairy Imu, as well as her rooms, leaked out their string murderous aura, making all those watching shiver in fright. Strong. Too strong. Nianzu and Songhai, who were watching, were shocked to see that this woman was at the second dan of the spirit realm. Of course, they were far stronger than her, and could quickly deal with her if need be. What puzzled them was who had paid to get Boss Chu killed. Who was behind it all? Old Nianzu, should we step in and help out? Nianzu massaged his chin thoughtfully. No, not yet. I want to see just how strong Boss Chu is. If he can't handle her, then we'll step in. I'd like to see what he's got. With Fat, the duo stayed back and blended in with the crowd, watching the entire show silently. Old Fru grew grim when he felt the burst of murderous aura target himself and the young master. Who exactly were these people? Could they have come because of the destruction of that Black Valley cult? They hadn't provoked any other person, so he couldn't think of it being anyone else. The question now was whether he and the young master would be able to handle the people before them. That aura was far stronger than his at the 11th Dan of the true Qi realm. So these people were definitely stronger. Oh no, would he and the young master be able to handle it? Old Fru's face turned pale with worry when he saw the goons and the lady step forward slowly with playful smiles on their faces. Of course, the guards here quickly stepped forth to assist Old Fru. Protect the young master. Everyone rushed forth in panic. But to their surprise, as well as the audience's surprise, Chu-Che still stood there calmly, as if the entire scene was one big joke. Chu-Che chuckled lazily before pointing at the rules hanging on the walls. Sigh. Lady, do you know where you are? This is my town. In other words, this is my entertainment park. And the rules are the same everywhere. Rules? What stupid rules? Anyone who harbors ill intentions towards I, the park owner, shall get babed up, spanked, thrown outside of the hall, and banned with immediate effect. So you only have yourselves to blame. Rosies, do your thing. Bing, 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 bing. Yes, father. *M*. Everyone looked around to see 6 Rosies hurriedly step forth in a flash like ninjas. Their antennas beeped vigorously, and their red eyes and red-colored antenna tips turned pure black. What happened next was something that they would never forget in their lives. Troublemakers. Troublemakers. Bad babies. Bad babies. What? Fairy Emu and the rest didn't have time to react, before they were swiftly pushed out of the building by the long, extendable arms of these puppets. They were forced out and pinned to the dusty ground on the streets. Bam! The ground cracked and trembled with an undesirable force that caused the passerbys and those lining up to open their mouths wide in shock and fear. No one had even seen when the many metal tube-like hands had left the building. 0. It was as if Emu and her books had magically appeared pinned to the ground. This kind of operation was enough to scare anyone. All right? Everyone subconsciously created space and turned their heads towards the building door to see where these long extendable claws came from. Who? Like evil villain robots, all Rosies marched out in unison while chanting the same words over and over. Bad baby! Bad baby! Bad baby! The scene made everyone's hair stand at attention. Weren't those the cute, harmless Rosies? Weren't those the cute, harmless Rosies? 0_0. Everyone stared at the situation in shock and disbelief. What was going on here? Bad baby! Bad baby! Bad baby! The robot Rosies, who had now entered the domineering mother phase, all marched out in unison, making everyone step far away from the scene. What a joke! Who would want to get caught up on this? Those inside the gaming hall rushed out behind the Rosies to get front-row seats to the show. They had a feeling that it was going to be epic. Even those watching from several broadcasts couldn't help screaming in anticipation. Why do these puppets now look different? They're usually sassy and cute, so how did they now look like hellish puppets? My money is on the puppets. They look strong. No, I think they will lose. They only succeeded in pinning these strangers down because they launched a surprise attack. Streamer, can you get closer? What the hell are you doing? Streamer, that person's head is too big and blocking the view. We can't see. Hey, who is this person blocking out the view? Move out of the way. ***. Emu and her goons squinted their eyes coldly when they realized what just happened. Their bodies boiled with rage when they thought of the shame and disgrace such a scene would cause if others got word of it. To them, these puppets only managed to land a hit on them because they took them unawares. For such a simple assignment, wouldn't it be a disgrace if others knew that they even received a single scratch from it all? Swish! In a flash, all Rosies withdrew their stretchable mechanical arms and placed them over their heads like mothers scolding their children. Bad babies. Bad babies need to get punished. Fairy Emu and her men quickly got up and stood in defense, planning to make this quick. Now that they were ready and prepared, they didn't for 1 second think that these puppets would be able to stop them. Imu's expression turned even frostier when she glanced at Chu-Che. Kid, you're only making things worse for yourself. Once these scraps you call puppets are taken care of, then I'll show you that there are things in this world far worse than death. Bad baby. Bad baby. Bad baby is rude to grandfather. Mother doesn't want baby anymore. Underscore. Everyone looked at the Rosies who were pointing arrogantly at these strangers and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Why did it seem like these puppets were acting like a spiteful mother? What was this operation? At this point, Fairy Imu was numb with rage, so much so that her face remained expressionless. She felt that these puppets were talking down on her. Everyone, attack! I want no traces of these puppets found once we're done. As for the middle puppet, leave her to me. Yes, my lady. With that, everyone jumped into motion, aiming for the Rosies that pinned that down. Swish! Fairy Imu leaped forward in a flash and smiled coldly, while stretching her long nails at the middle Rosie. The closer she got, the more confident she felt. Everyone watching stared so hard that they didn't even realize that they were holding in their breaths, as well as gripping the shoulders and body parts of others hard. Their hearts sank deeply when some felt the air wind hit them hard, indicating that Fairy Imu had just passed by. With her crazy speed, they couldn't see her moves, making them feel that this would be the end for the Rosie she targeted. Was Rosie going to lose? Will Boss Chu step in? Will the lady end up killing Boss Chu too? Everyone had so many questions on their minds. It was just that what they thought was completely different from the end result they witnessed. Fairy Imu smirked arrogantly while advancing towards Rosie's middle, stretching her nails towards Rosie, channeling chi on it. She intended to rip the damn thing apart with a single move. But just when she was inches away, Rosie suddenly revealed a horror movie-like smile at Imu. She looked like a posed doll/puppet. Now, child. It isn't nice to raise your hands at your mother. Bad baby. Pa. The loud crisp sound of Rosie's slap echoed out so loud that everyone couldn't help looking at Fairy Imu pitifully. As expected, her jaw was swollen and as red as a tomato. Fairy Imu stumbled back and placed her hand over her jaw in shock and disbelief. You dare slap me? You dare hit this fairy? Ah! I'll kill you. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. It was official. Imu had lost it. She screamed in rage and dashed towards Rosie in hate. She punched, kicked, and even used her whip against Rosie. But everything ended up with her getting beaten silly. Oh! How dare you attack me? Do you know who I am? Pa! You will regret it if you don't stop for me. Pa! Brat! Tell her puppets to stop. You're destroying my beautiful face. Bam! Are you deaf? I said stop. Pa! Pa! Bam! Pa! Y. Everyone looked at Imu, and somehow felt that she was very pitiful. They looked at the Rosies and swore never to get on their bad sides. Who would have known that these puppets would be able to deal with such existences so quickly? Everyone couldn't help shedding a few invisible tears for Fairy Imu and her goons. They looked at everything and thought it was finally over. But how could they have known that this was just the beginning of the show? How could Rosie leave things like this when she hadn't babied them up? Impossible. You! Bam! 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 Audience. Surprised face. Looking at the miraculous scene before them, everyone couldn't help wiping their non-existent sweat off their faces. Meanwhile, Fairy Imu, who was soaked and beaten to a pulp, had lost her power of speech as she started talking incoherently. Just when she and everyone else thought this would all be over, Rosie's claws stretched out, reaching for her fiercely. Was this the finishing move? Everyone thought the same too. Was this the lady's end? She subconsciously closed her eyes and relaxed her expression, as if trying to die in the most beautiful way ever. Typically, this move usually made the audience feel like she was scared of anything, as if even till death, she was unwilling to give them the satisfaction of having her enemies witness her beg or cry. Yes, such a move could have been awe-inspiring. Too bad her present image made it look like she was about to cry instead. Her swollen face, coupled with the pain, really hurt whenever she moved her facial muscles, Even squinting her eyes was daunting. As cultivated and absorbed chi, it would go down. Provided there weren't any scars or internal injuries that needed elixirs or pills, swells were nothing. Fairy Imu, who thought she was acting like a noble otherworldly figure even till death, didn't know about the thoughts of those watching in the broadcasts. Lying trough. How did she go from that to this? Her entire face is purplish red. Wait, why does it look like she's trying to hold in a fart instead? You don't think she'll let one out now, right? Upstairs, I thought I was the only one seeing this. Sigh. In the end, she looks pitiful. Like I said, going against Boss Chu won't end well. Did you guys hear what she called herself? She said she was Fairy Imu or something like that. So does anyone have a clue about her? No clue. But judging from her attire and arrogant attitude, she should be from one of the big cities. Fairy Imu. The name is quite interesting. Upstairs. Who are you trying to act mysterious with? Please, accept your faith and stop acting like some big boss. Hey, can a man pretend? And how are you so sure that I'm not a big boss? Pooey. Like the rest of us, I'm sure you've never been to any big city before. Big boss indeed. Imu spread her hands apart and closed her eyes as if waiting for judgment. Very quickly, Rosie's hands stretched towards Imu, and everyone knew this was the finishing blow. It was just that what happened next made many open their mouths and eyes wide for different reasons. Rip. Silence. Fairy Imu, who had her eyes closed, suddenly felt a draft of wind blow all over her body. She opened her eyes, only to see her now torn clothes in the hands of Rosie. She looked at the crowd and saw several people's eyes glued to her. Some had nosebleeds, while others, the ladies, covered their faces and flushed hard. Some also covered the eyes of the youngsters. The wind made her shudder, and it was only then that everything seemed to click in her mind. It wasn't just her, as her goons had been stripped clean and were all wearing their birthday suits too. Instantly, their expressions became unnaturally stiff. You give back our clothes now. Give them back. The audience was too stunned to react. The women blushed harder, seeing many men stand naked in a circle. At first, the men wanted to turn around with their backs facing the crowd while surrounding Fairy Imu. But if they did that, wouldn't Fairy Imu see their fronts instead? Plus, the crowd will also see their buttocks too. They kept turning around in confusion while cursing the perverted puppets before them. This scene was not only funny, but also terrifying to those who regularly visited the gaming hall. They would never tease or get on Rosie's bad side ever. Fairy Imu's eyes were blood red with rage when she saw all the Rosies send their stretchable claws to them. Bad babies. Come to mama. Just the voices of the Rosies made Imu and her gang back away slowly while trying to hide their goods. Their faces turned pale in horror when they saw the claws reach for them. You stay away from us. No. No. What are you doing? Let me go. What do you want to do? I said let me go, you crazy puppet. No. 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 Pa. Clip. Tap. Clip.
Tete.
In a daze, the crowd watched and once again felt lucky to have never angered Rosie before. Rosie's belly region opened up, and out came a lathe white cloth diaper. And in not more than 3 breaths, she skillfully wrapped the cloth on Imu and also tied something over her head. From there, she carried Imu like a baby, as if trying to burn her. All the while Imu was trying to push herself away from the puppet's chest.
You crazy puppet.
You let me go. You let me go now. It was at this moment that the Rosie carrying Imu released a terrifying aura filled with rage. You unfilial baby. Since you don't want mother anymore, then mother doesn't want you too. Swish. With no warning, Rosie gripped Imu's diaper, spun her several times in the air before shooting her way up into the sky mercilessly. Maybe it was their imagination, but the audience could have sworn that they saw an invisible star twinkle after Imu disappeared above. And as she flew up, Imu couldn't help cursing loudly.
Damn you, puppet.
I'll get you. I'll get you. Rosie placed her hands on her hips in rage. This mother doesn't want the baby anymore. So don't come back. You have been banned. Straight face. Audience, who am I? What am I doing here? Everyone had no tears but wanted to cry. So was this what the rules meant by getting babed up? I'll get you. Whoosh! Imu flew through the air at a ridiculous speed and landed within a forest region far, far away from Wonji town. And the lower she was to the ground, the more trees she destroyed. And in the end, the force eventually buried her into the ground. Cack, crack, crack, bam. The scene was unbelievable. All nearby beasts were so shocked that they hurriedly ran away from whatever had caused such destruction. Ugh! Fairy Imu trembled in pain before spitting out a large mouth full of blood unwillingly. Presently, she found that she had somehow created a burial hole the entire time she had been sliding across the ground. In resentment, she dug her fingernails into the soil underneath, while cursing Chu Che and his perverted puppets. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! How did it end this way? No. She was reconciled. How can someone as great as her be beaten by a brat no more than 16 years old? What exactly happened there? Could it be that the brat had the help of a hidden master somewhere within the town? F********. Cough. 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 Imu coughed loudly while grimacing in pain. She felt like she had cracked her ribs and her back. And truthfully, she didn't feel like standing at all. But she knew that if she didn't stand up now, it wouldn't be long before some forest beasts came at her. Of course, her men also thought the same and tried their best to carry themselves. Everyone clenched their fists right and only felt hatred flow within them. No matter what, they had to make that beat pay. Meanwhile, back in Wonji town, seeing Imu and her goons shamefully thrown away, everyone couldn't help sweating hard. They haven't done anything that could piss off these Rosies, right? Even Songai and Nianzu felt a little frightened. Earlier, they had never bothered to care about how strong these puppets were since their entire attention was drawn to the strange realms. In short, because of how cute and sassy these puppets were, they had dropped their guard down severally. But during the battle, they couldn't even perceive the teal strength of these puppets. Instead, when they tried to see through the puppets, they were hit by a strong, mysterious force that knocked them back and caused them to stumble and tremble instead. This wasn't something they could defeat. Remembering how rude they were to Chu Che when they first arrived, they wanted to dig holes for themselves in the ground and die. If word got out that they, the dignified elders of the profound sect, had ended up getting stripped and thrown away in this manner, then all their faces would be lost. How were they to ever raise their heads high again? The only way they would be able to escape from all the disgrace would be to ascend to the next domain as quickly as possible. Even at that, when others descend and meet them, their legend would still prevail. Looking at the beautiful Imu who had disappeared up in the sky, they could only shake their heads pitifully for her. Because from now on, the legend of the naked flying lady would be a hit for all. The worst part is that some people had broadcasted and stored the removable occasion, so there was no way that she could deny it. Sigh. Boss Chu's puppets sure were ruthless. Everyone felt like they should never provoke these puppets, ever. When the villains disappeared, all Rosies returned to their original cute nature, rushing towards Chu Che merrily. Chu Che patted their heads helplessly. Who knew that his cute babies would turn into Terminators in the blink of an eye? Nonetheless, he didn't think that they were scary. Chu Che thinned his lips deep in thought. Who wanted his life? It wasn't long since he arrived, and he had only gone out twice. So it was either the evil sect who discovered his whereabouts, Mr. But Lip, or those who succeeded in poisoning the original owner. Who? This was a mystery to Chu Che. But while he and everyone were still discussing Imu and her goons, just outside the town, the Juong bandits started dashing towards the town like crazy. Why? Because they saw the signal from above. Yup, they saw something speedily fly over their heads, right from within Wonji town. So they assumed it was the signal. After all, Fairy Imu had been vague about what the signal actually was. All she said was that they would know. So seeing this, what else could it mean? Leader. Leader. That's the sign.
Hem.
I just saw it too. Ha 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 ha. The brat is dead. Hey, doesn't this mean that old Fru is dead as well? Yes. Yes. He's definitely dead. Ha 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 ha. Who asked them to go against us, the Juong bandits? Heh. Serves them right. Listening to his men, Jiang Juang Count helped grinning victoriously. Finally, Wenji town will be his. All right, let's go. Kill them all. Yes, leader. ****. With that, they were off. Meanwhile, Chu Che and the rest who thought the show had finally ended were taken aback by the sudden message on their cards. Their cards vibrated loudly, raising everyone to freeze. Random mission alert. Random mission alert. Destroy the incoming enemies. I repeat, destroy the incoming enemies. 0_0. Random mission. Destroy the intruders, or successfully push them back. Everyone looked at their membership cards in shock. What was this? Chu Che also looked at his membership card in confusion. Was this some sort of group mission? Instantly, the system popped out and sat on Chu Che's shoulders and playfully swung its legs. My darling host, I think you've always forgotten that since the entire town is marked as the entertainment park itself, no one can endanger it. During enemy attacks, you can activate safe mode, which will ensure that no structure, be it the buildings or even the walls, would get destroyed. No matter what the enemy brings, the park will stay standing, and the residents will be the only ones who can go into their homes or buildings. Once they lock themselves in, no one would be able to enter. All enemies will be kept out. Again, you can activate shield mode, which triggers a force field around the town. So any attacks on the town from outside will get blocked. At the same time, no enemy would be able to step into Wenji town. And last but not least, the host could choose to activate battle mode and launch several attacks at the enemies. In fact, in the last battle with the evil sect, he could have just wiped them all out once battle mode was activated. Chu Che opened his eyes in amazement. How could he forget about this? Chu Che rubbed his chin in curiosity. So far, the park has 3 modes. The first was of course safe mode, which not only protected the walls and the building structures, but also kept the residents, or those who paid to stay within the inn, safe. This mode protected the structures, but had no problem with intruders stepping in. That's right. In this mode, the enemies could freely barge into Wenji town and stroll on the streets as they pleased. But they wouldn't be able to destroy or enter a single building, be it a hut or a mansion. And the townsfolk there would remain safe, hence the word safe mode. The second mode was shield mode that wouldn't allow any enemy in, and could also stop all attacks. In short, with this mode, residents could go about their day as they pleased without a care in the world. And no matter what attacks fell from the sky or flew at sky-high level towards them, it would all be blocked by the amazing force field. Lastly, his third mode was battle mode. Without a doubt, the enemy would perish or get brutally injured, since he was sure that no one could be superior to the system. Thinking of his last battle outside the town gates, he could have just used battle mode to deal with them. Sigh. Blame it on him for being so forgetful. Chu Che listened and quickly understood something. System, with the random mission you've just given out, do you want me to activate safe mode? Correct, host. You need to activate safe mode to ensure that no residential structures get destroyed when the enemies enter Wenji town. Then what about the townsfolk? How do I warn them about the trouble coming? Host, you don't need to worry about that. Once you click on any of the modes, several warning messages would echo out from the registration hall, reaching the ears of everyone within the town, no matter where they are. Each mode has different prearranged messages. The shield and battle modes will inform them about the threat, but tell them to go about their day as they usually did, while the safe mode will ask them to stay within any of the nearby buildings. Be it a barn or even a mansion, whatever building nearby is where they need to be. Okay, the system had indeed thought of everything. What more could he say? Old Fru beside Chu Che couldn't help signing up when he saw the random mission alert. He quickly clicked yes on his screen and instantly saw a blue interface pop up before him. It wasn't just him, as Nianzu and everyone else quickly joined in. Welcome, Tasker Old Fru. Welcome, Tasker the Greatest Elder. Welcome, Tasker the Powerful Taoist. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Old Fru blinked hard and stretched his hands forward in disbelief. This was incredible. He had seen these floating transparent bluish interfaces when spending time in the gaming hall visiting the other realms. But this was real life, okay? His lips quivered in excitement as he tried to resist the urge to smile stupidly. Of course, those who had already taken missions in the mission hall weren't all surprised by this. No. What shocked them the most was that they could see a health bar above them. F*******. What was this operation? Looking at each other, they could also see bluish transparent names above everyone else's heads. Some recognized some famous names and immediately went wild with glee. I wipe. Anti-Magira 24. Is that really you? F*******. It's Sword Shiro 11. So that's who you are. Ha 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 ha. I remember you, Amar Doom. Aren't you the one who commented about getting ripped into shred by Senior Sonya Blade? As expected, Beauty Pen truly lives up to her name. She's so pretty. V. Everyone saw the floating names above their heads and excitedly greeted each other happily. It was as if they had met their long-lost friends. Nianzu and Songhai stood firm when they saw the worshipping gazes from everyone else. Look, it's the greatest elder and the powerful Taoist. What? Damn it. I can't believe I've been around them all this time. I heard that they were able to escape the prison of the damned in a matter of days and hold the record for the shortest time, or took to advance to the next level in the realm. Awesome. As expected of them. Guys, look. The random mission countdown is on. Time to go. Listening to everyone getting overly excited about who was who, Chu Che couldn't help shaking his head wryly. As expected, the online world was truly amazing. For the random mission, several brief notices came up after people clicked or inwardly said yes to accept the mission. To start off, those who choose to select yes will automatically get a life-saving teleportation pass that will teleport them into the ground floor of the mission hall when their power level is below 60%. Again, apart from seeing their health bar on their floating interface, they would also be able to see the enemy's health bar floating above their heads. So maybe 5-10 people could team up to deal with some powerful enemies, working hard to finish them. Another thing to note was that they could get points from the enemies they defeated. That's right, they could get points that could get converted into chi. In short, these points would get added to their strength points. So this was also an opportunity for those who were about to break through. For example, some had 199, 967/200,000 and were only shy of a few points. Of course, the number of points they could get depended on the strength of the enemy, as well as the struggle they faced against the enemy. Of course, points weren't the true reward for the random mission. This was just a bonus. The reward was that those who did join would get a free play pass, where they could play without paying for 6 hours. Again, there was also some hidden reward that no one knew of. What could it be? Some people who just noticed the alert tried to join in, but failed. As of now, the window of opportunity to join in had already passed. The moment the alert popped up on everyone's screen, they were given 1 minute, 30 seconds to accept or refuse. The time limit had long passed, so only those who clicked or inwardly chanted the word yes could fight. Running towards the gaming hall were Bo Su, Little Lulu, Ru Moyan, and the rest. The moment the alert came up, they instantly accepted and decided to join in on the fun. What a joke! They had already missed the flying lady, so how could they still miss this? Impossible. Luckily, they hadn't chosen a mission in the mission hall yet. Or else if they had teleported out already, wouldn't they be in tears with regret by now? Sure enough, when they were making their way towards the gaming hall, they heard a clear and steady voice echoing across the town. Warning! Warning! Safe mode activated. This is a message from the town lord. Enemy approaching. Wonji town is in danger. All residences should stay inside. Town guards ensure that everyone is safely indoors. Taskers, please head towards the front of the town for battle. Warning! Warning! Safe mode activated. This is a message from the town lord. Enemy approaching. Blah. 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 Listening to the voice, Bo Su and the rest quickly changed directions, dashing towards the town gate. At the same time, the townsfolk and even those who came in from the neighboring villages all stopped what they were doing in shock. What was going on here? Their faces grew grim when they heard the clear voice. Enemy attack. Oh no. Will they be okay? Many quickly got up to run into the nearest building, just as the voice had said. And those who were far away, working on fields, were carried and escorted towards any of the buildings by the town guards. The mortal folks who were already mission takers in the mission hall quickly looked at their membership cards that alerted them to get to safety. From the membership cards, they understood that no matter what building it was, during the battle, it would remain safe and sturdy. Could it be a formation? Those who had entered the barns couldn't help looking at the wooden barns, wondering if the formation around it would truly be able to keep them safe. Well, no matter the case, they had no choice but to believe. After all, there was nowhere they could run to since the enemy was already here. But they couldn't help wondering who the enemy was. Could it be that they had offended someone without knowing it? Swish, swish, swish. Zhang Juang and his men hurried along the wide road, heading towards Wenji town. Standing before the gates, Zhang Huang felt like his longtime dream was about to be fulfilled. Ha 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 ha! Now Wenji town will finally be his. He and his men stepped into the town, but saw no guards around the gates. Boss, where is everyone? Yeah, could it be that Fairy Emu dealt with them all? One of the bandit elders caressed his chin playfully while looking around lazily. There are no signs of any battle taking place here. So my guess is that the guards here headed towards the town lord's pace to have their precious master. They're still probably trying to defeat Fairy Emu. Listening to the leader, the bandits all sneered arrogantly. Heh, do they still think they'll be able to deal with Fairy Emu? A bunch of fools. Everyone laughed merrily while advancing. But soon, they started seeing a storm of people rising towards them from ahead. But this didn't make them panic. Ha 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 ha! Look, Fairy Emu has scared them so much that they're running away. Zhang Huang grinned broadly while taming a battle stance. Seeing the frightened group running towards him, how could he let them go? Zhang Juang, who initially thought they were frightened, was utterly taken aback by the killing intent he received. No, something wasn't right. Zhang Juang's confident smile quickly cracked and froze when he observed the thundering crowd dashing towards their way. These people weren't frightened. They were charging in for war instead. Zhang Juang's eyes darted from left to right and right to left in disbelief. What was this setup? Weren't they supposed to be running away in fear of Fairy Emu and her goons? So what was all this? The bandit elders had also noticed the problem too. All four elders looked around vigilantly while being dumbfounded by the scene before them. Leader, these people are weird. Yes, I think they're charging toward us with the intention of fighting. But this doesn't make any sense. How could they have known of our arrival? Could it be that Fairy Emu said something while battling with them? No, I don't think so. Fairy Emu is someone from the Bloodhound Killer organization. She has been trained to keep a tight lip on things. So even in battle, she wouldn't say who sent her or who she was working with. That's true. Then it can only mean that these approaching people only rushed towards us coincidentally when they were fleeing. They probably think we're here to block their way. That's why they're prepared to fight us for the chance to flee. Plus, with our famous Juang bandit outfits, they've probably already recognized us and are hostile towards us. Everyone nodded, thinking that it made absolute sense. Zhang Juang couldn't care less whether they were trying to flee or attack them. To him, the outcome of the battle had long been decided. With old Fru and the brat out of the way, he was truly in a good mood. Bandits, kill them all. With that, the bandits dashed toward the approaching cultivators like crazy. At the same time, the taskers who saw the health bar above the heads of their approaching enemies only felt overly excited, as if they had been infected with chicken soup. They knew they couldn't die because when things would get bad, they would automatically get teleported away. So what was there to be scared of? Many were too excited to fight people in real life that were strong. The pressure from such opponents would benefit them greatly, and they wanted to gauge how much they had improved over time. Ha ha ha! This was perfect. They dashed forward with silly smiles, like mad people, which made the bandits helpless. Who smiled when seeking death? This alone made them utterly speechless. Boom! The battle began. Ru Moyen, who was still within the beginning stages of the second Dan, quickly rushed to deal with a bandit who was in the fourth Dan of the True Chi realm. Bam! 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 Rumble! The floor shook and cracked as Moyen quickly dodged his opponent's numerous attacks by inches. So strong. Seeing the damage the attacks caused, Moyen couldn't go sweating intensely. The pressure from his opponent was so much that it sent a spark of fear down to his bones. But Moyen knew that if he gave in to this fear and lost his vigilance, he would get brutally hacked. And by then, it would be game over. Or, in this case, he would get transported back to the mission hall. But how could he allow that to happen? Honestly, he was so shocked that he could even dodge the attacks so far. It looked like his battle experience in the gaming hall realms had really paid off. Because of his vigilance, as well as the minor signs given off by his opponent, it was somewhat easy for him to predict where the enemy would strike next. As expected, all the battles and surprise attacks by Majira and the other characters in the realms had taught him to be fully aware of his surroundings. Swish! 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 The air whistled loudly as Moyen kept dodging the attacks. His opponent couldn't help opening his eyes in disbelief. What the hell was going on here? At the fourth dan, he could tell that Moyen was still in the second dan. The higher one's cultivation, the swifter his attacks, making those lower or weaker hardly see the attacks. To Moyen, he should only be seeing flashes or after images. So who could tell him why this guy could still dodge his attacks? How was this even possible? Seeing the shocked look in his opponent's eyes, Moyen couldn't help sneering. In the gaming teams, all his opponents were always way stronger than he was. So since he could hardly see what they were doing, he learned how to predict and be in tune with his senses. What a joke! Did these people think that the training he did was all for nothing? Of course, even though Moyen was confident, it didn't mean he could take on people stronger than his current opponent. Even though he didn't know how strong his opponent was, he felt his opponent should have a similar strength to Bo Su, who was in the fourth dan. He should know because he had been sparring with Bo Su all this time, improving his sense of surroundings. Of course, if he were to fight someone stronger than Bo Su, he felt like he would have no chance to dodge or predict any incoming assaults, because they would be way too fast for someone like him in the second dan. Thanks to Bo Su and his training from the realms, he could at least dodge most attacks from those in the third and fourth dan. That said, dodging was easier than attacking. He could dodge most of their assaults, but if he planned to engage them 9 out of 10 times, he was bound to miss his mark. He mostly learned dodging to flee if he ever faced an opponent like Bo Su. But now, he knew that if he didn't attack, he wouldn't be able to get points from the mission. All right, it was time to give it his all. Seeing Ru Moyen dodging his attacks, the opponent bandit couldn't help gritting his teeth unwillingly. I don't believe it. Why are you still unharmed? The bandit looked at Moyen from head to toe, as if looking at a strange creature. He felt that his pride as a bandit had been crushed. Why, you little? Damn it. I will not be played on by a kid of only 14 years old. If I can't even kill you, a second dan weakling, I'll write my name backward and call you father. Crab spear hands. Instantly, the bandit raised his hands above his head, opening them up like a crab, before striking a pose with his legs. Swish! He moved like lightning, channeling his chi into his hands, transforming them into sharp knives, ready to take Ru Moyen's life. Moyen's eyes dilated in terror at the sheer amount of pressure he felt. But he knew that he had to act fast, or he would be out of the game. He had to use this time to strike, or he would never have another chance again. Remembering the flash image of his opponent, he quickly moved his body, hoping his decision was correct. Here goes nothing. Swish! Fire of Ares, Ares' fury. Boom! Under the shock of the bandit, the tip of Moyen's sword turned red, releasing a violent flame that was too hot to handle. What? The bandit quickly jumped away in shock, before looking at his burnt hand that hurt like hell. F*******. What sort of flames were these? They were so hot that he felt like they might actually turn him to ashes if this second dan youngster was too strong. Lying trough. What just happened? Graus 0 graus. Those who saw this scene were pricked with a sensation that shot through their spines. Some watched in horror, while others trembled and stood up in disbelief. Moyen, who had long ago chosen to live broadcast the battle, had completely stunned the barrage by his moves. I'll go. The Moyen Mysterio just used the flames of Ares. Ha 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 ha. It's the flames of Ares. Damn. I'm so envious of him. F*******. I thought I was a genius by managing to make my sword heat up. But now that I know that there are people other than Boss Sue who can produce some flames, I've decided to bury my head in a hole and beg for forgiveness for my blindness. Awesome. While the barrage grew crazy with glee, the nearby bandits who saw this scene were both dumbfounded and in horror. How was this even possible? This was too abnormal. How? This didn't make any sense. The bandit Moyen attacked felt his heart tighten when he looked at part of his left arm that was already burnt black. This was bad. Even though the brat was in the second Dan, that flame was way powerful. He guessed that the flame should be able to deal with a third Dan cultivator in no time. And for him in the fourth Dan, it would take a few more tries to finish him off with the flame. Thinking of him dying in the hands of some second Dan weakling, the bandit felt very much unwilling. As for Moyen, he was so stunned when he saw the raging effect of the fire of Ares. He felt like he had only tapped into the early stages of it. So imagine if he managed to tap into the rest of it. Of course, the strength of the fire was somewhat proportional to his own strength too. The stronger he got, the stronger the flame. Seeing the bandit's health bar go down from 100% to 94%. Sure, it was a long way to go, but it was way better than him making a move without the flame. Without the flame, he might fight for long and only manage to damage his opponent from 100% to 98%. Imagine fighting until one was exhausted, only to realize that the enemy's strength had only been reduced by 1%. No, it wouldn't even be a fight. The bandit was way stronger than him by 2 dawn. So how can that be considered a battle? Forget about having the difference of 2 while dawn. Even a difference of 1 Dan was too strong. No, he was once again going too far. Currently, he was at the early stages of the second Dan, still struggling to stabilize his core. So without a doubt, someone at the middle stage or late stage of the second Dan would be stronger than him. That said, his opponent at the fourth Dan should just massacre him, leaving him no chance to retaliate. If he didn't manifest the flame of Ares, his opponent would probably torture him and even kill him, only exhausting at most 1% of his strength. Sometimes, the enemy might not even exhaust their strength at all, treating him like a fly on a wall. But now, with the flame, Moyen had managed to injure his enemy at the early stages of their battle, decreasing his strength by 6%. F******. This was too magical, all right? Moyen felt like he was still dreaming. Of course, he didn't get full of himself, because he knew his flames were not as strong or near to what Boss Chu could manifest. Compared to Boss Chu's flames, his were as faint as a flame hovering above a thin stick, matchstick. Moyen smirked confidently, which happened to be seen by the annoyed bandit. You little runt, don't think that because you've managed to scar me, you'll be able to take my life. You better stop dreaming, because I will be the one to take your life instead. Claw spear hands. Fire of Ares, Ares fury. Boom, boom, swish, bam, boom, boom, boom. The air was tense, and the pressure was high. Moyen's breathing became heavier and heavier the longer the fight went. Damn it! He had been struck once by the bandit, which made his health bar drop to 63%, while he, who had managed to land 2 more hits, had only managed to drop the bandit's strength to 83%. F******. Once his bar went below 60%, he would automatically get taken out of the battlefield. He gritted his teeth and faced the pressure, trying his best to control his breathing and dodged the attack. But when he thought he had successfully predicted the bandit's move, he felt a dreadfully heavy attack coming his way. His face turned grim. Had he miscalculated? The bad smiled ruthlessly, while transforming his leg to be as flexible as a serpent. Ha 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 ha. Brat, you didn't see this coming, did you? Now you'll know why people fear us, the Zhuang bandits. Now you die. Ha 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 ha. The bandit opened his eyes, revealing a very crazed appearance at the thought of killing off the brat. But what happened next left him in shock. When the attack was just inches away from the brat's face, the little imp suddenly smiled playfully. Swish. Plop. The brat had vanished. Whoosh. The bandit's attack whistled strongly in the air, leaving him dumbfounded. The bandit looked around vigilantly, jumping like a toad in circles. Where was he? Where was the little runt? The bandit turned around severally, thinking the best would launch a sneak attack at him. But nothing seemed to be coming forth. Could it be that the brat used an escape talisman? F******. He was so close. Ah dot. The bandit exclaimed in an attempt to release his pent-up frustration. He almost puked and fainted from pure rage when he thought the brat, who burnt his hand, and even his waist had escaped just like that. He wanted revenge, goddamn it. Brat, pray that I never catch you, because when I do, I'll stew your liver and feed it to the fishes. The bandit cursed Rumoyan numerous times in his mind. But before he could even take a breather, 3 other youngsters rushed towards him, with strange looks in their eyes that made him speechless. They looked at him as if they were looking at a chicken they were about to catch for dinner. And what was up with the strange words they kept yelling out? Ha 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 ha. His H.P is at 83%. With 3 of us attacking him all at once, we are bound to get high points. Yes, yes, yes. After fighting for so long, his H.O has only dropped to 83%, showing how strong he is. Ha 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 ha. I like strong opponents like him. The stronger he is, the more pressure we'll face, leading to more points. Mr. Bandit, don't be afraid to come at us with everything you've got. We like being beaten up, so give us your best moves. Mr. Bandit, are you listening? Mr. Bandit. Straight face. The bandit almost stumbled. Why were people in this town so strange? They started feeling uncomfortable already. Who gets pleasure from recording beatings? Could it be that he had signed up for something else instead? Looking at the eager faces of the trio, the bandit only wanted to shed tears in silence. For the first time, he didn't feel like beating people to death. Mr. Bandit. Mr. Bandit. Mr. Bandit. Y. Boom. 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 The battleground remained heated as all taskers flew in, without any fear whatsoever. Their actions were so crazy that even the enemy started to get weirded out by it all. One of the bandit elders thinned his lips uncomfortably after his opponent had disappeared before him. He looked towards another elder and smiled bitterly. Do you know the situation here? The other person was in a daze as well. I have no clue. But I think by now, it's safe to say that these people are mad. They aren't right in the head anymore. It's almost like they're begging to be killed instead. This isn't normal. The first elder couldn't help nodding in agreement. Something was up with these people. Not only were they actively seeking death, but they also liked disappearing in the heat of the battle. There were too many strange things going on that they didn't think the battle was worth fighting anymore. But then again, the only thing that confused them was the matter with Fairy Emu. Where the hell is that woman? Is she occupied with people who are also actively seeking death? Maybe. It's very likely. But wait, if she did succeed as we thought, then who is that? A few bandit elders squinted their eyes and looked right ahead, only to notice old Fru fighting vigorously. Impossible. 0 increment 0. Their chins dropped in shock and disbelief. Wasn't he supposed to be dead by now? If he was still alive, then the brat should also be alive. Then what signal did they see earlier that made them rush towards Wanji town? Their faces turned grim in horror. This was bad. Jiang Juong had also spotted old Fru fighting ahead and stood rooted to the ground in astonishment. He quickly pushed away the town guard tasker he was fighting and stared at old Fru instantly, feeling a deep sense of crisis build within him. How was it possible that he could no longer see old Fru's cultivation base? Black hair, straight back, fewer wrinkles on his face. The son of AB****ch had broken through. Jiang Juong felt like someone had pure ice water on him. They used to both be at the 10th dan. And in truth, old Fru should have had no hope of breaking through. Jiang Juong shook his head unwillingly. He had calculated everything and knew that in a few more years, old Fru's life should be over. That meant that within this transition stage of him nearing his end, old Fru's vitality would be greatly weakened, making him easier to kill. So what was all this? His eyes darted chaotically after seeing old Fru. She lost. She lost. But how? How could Fairy Emu lose? Who the hell defeated her? Who was the one who helped old Fru break through? Damn it! There was no doubt about it. Some mysterious senior was here. Jiang Juang's body trembled in horror. Retreat. Retreat. All bandits leave now. The bandits who heard the command started falling back like crazy. They weren't fools. They had long realized that something was way off with this battle. And for so long, how come Fairy Imu didn't come? There were so many signs that told them that these weird people were in control of the entire situation. Yet they chose not to believe that someone in here was able to deal with Fairy Imu. F*******. Noticing the situation and recording their orders, the bandits dashed towards the town gates crazily in an attempt to flee. But how could it be that easy? Mr. Bandit, where are you going? I haven't even gotten enough points yet. So don't even think about it. The bandits felt like crying when these people didn't let them go. Damn you, crazy people. Get out of the way, or I'll blow your head off. Perfect. That's good, Mr. Bandit. That's what we want. Blow it. Blow it off now. Perfect. That's good, Mr. Bandit. That's what we want. Blow it. Blow it off now. Crying face. F*******. The bandits picked their legs and dashed out as fast as they could while trying to fight back. Who could tell them what sort of crazy people had they encountered? What was all this? Retreat. 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 Jiang Juang thinned his lips unwillingly, while trying his best to flee as fast as he could. Even the other bandits had pale faces when seeing the scene before them. They, too, were also terrified by the strange techniques and skills used by these people. Everyone was dashing out as fast as they could, but how could it be that easy? Out of nowhere, on this sunny day, two small black clouds formed above. And what happened next shocked the bandits and everyone else silly. Durara! Lightning struck down from above, making the bandits step back in utter fear. F*******. What did they just see? Graus zero graus. Monsters. 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 Nianzu and Songhai, whose feet now had streaks of lightning dancing around them, felt utterly energized when the bolts of lightning struck their feet. They opened their eyes and grinned, making those in the barrage scream like idols, while the bandits only felt utter fear. The duo looked at themselves as if competing with each other. Lightning steps. Zoom. They dashed forward in a zigzag manner, getting as many kills as possible. Thunder of justice. Kra. What? The bandits had no time to react. They died with their eyes wide open in shock and alarm. No one could see anyone or anything. Even the other taskers couldn't see anything. All they saw were fast streaks and flashes of light that passed through the bandits in a blink of an eye, creating reddish lines. And wherever these flashes passed, death would follow. Plop, 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 plop. Like flies, they all fell in disbelief and terror. Their hearts hammered in their chests unwillingly. And before they knew it, they were dead. Even though the baskets couldn't see things clearly, that didn't mean those in the barrage couldn't. The duo were also live streaming too. And even with their crazy speed, the cards could still keep up with them, recording every little thing they did. Seeing things clearly, the barrage was going crazy yet again. Some stop up in shock, feeling like rushing over to the duo in worship. F*******. Weren't those Lord Raiden's lightning kill step? This was awesome. Many in the barrage almost licked their cards and dropped to their knees in awe. Chu-Che also looked at the scene and couldn't help nodding in appreciation. Because of their high cultivation level and strength, it looked like Nianzu and Songhai had perfected the attack. But that was far from the truth. So far, they had only gotten a glimpse of the real attack. If Chu-Che were to perform it, he would be able to kill off all enemies by just standing in one place and sending streaks of lightning through the floor to all enemies. Plop, 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 plop. The bandits fell one and one, horrifying the bandit elders who glanced over their shoulders. I knew it. I knew we shouldn't have hired Fairy Imu. All her boastful arrogance turned out to be all for nothing. Damn it! Didn't the Bloodhound Killer organization agree to send us one of their bests? So why would they send us trash like her? F*******. We paid all that for nothing. No. I don't think Fairy Imu is the problem here. Take a look at how weird this town is. I'm sure that the seniors residing here must be way stronger than Fairy Imu and her goons. Maybe the senior killed her already. Or maybe what we saw earlier wasn't a signal from her, but a shadow of her fleeing the scene instead. Those bloody villains. Is it that they looked down on us too much that they didn't even bother alerting us? If we had been warned, do you think we would rush in to get slaughtered? How are we supposed to fight gods who command lightning? We don't have much time. It's clear that they want us dead, so we have to flee fast. Quick, get your escape talismans out, or we'll all die here. Now. Whoosh. Without a moment to lose, they all got out their escape talismans and rolled it up, which automatically activated it, causing the rune writings to glow blue. Krah! Jiang Juong had a grim expression when he suddenly felt a massive wave of murderous pressure surround him. Fortunately, he had activated the talisman and disappeared just before Nianzu was about to make his move. Plop! Ah! Jiang Juong, who found himself within the great hall in the bandit fortress, alongside a few other elders, realized that he had been hit or rather shocked with something before he escaped. Judging from the burns on his legs and his tattered pants, he knew that if he had stayed a little more, he would have undoubtedly died. Pluff! Leader! A few bandits who stayed in the fortress rushed towards him when they saw Jiang Juong spitting a mouthful of reddish-black blood. Jiang Juong's eyes rolled as he spat vigorously. Damn it! He had gotten an internal injury. The other elders were also facing the same predicaments too. Seeing how powerful the attacks they received were, their faces turned deadly pale at the skillfulness of the mysterious senior. Looking at themselves, they realized that 3 other elders didn't make it back, meaning they were probably dead. Gather everyone for an emergency meeting. But leader, your injuries. Jiang Juong quickly grabbed the main bandit butler by his collar hastily. I said to gather them now. Why, yes, leader. With that, the butler scooted away without a moment to lose. Seeing the leaders' and elders' injuries, he guessed that it might have something to do with Wanji Town. Who was responsible for dishing out such ghastly attacks? Jiang Juong and the elders who were supported quickly thought things through in their minds. They decided that without help from a sect or any other major powerful forces, they would be dare get close to Wanji Town anymore. Assassins or those from killer organizations wouldn't be able to do this job. They needed people who were supreme here in the lower realm. For now, Wanji Town would remain under the ownership of the brat. Damn it, they lost. Jiang Juong and the rest were just about to have their urgent meeting when they suddenly saw a figure that made them fuming. You still have the guts to show your face here? You still have the guys to show your face here? ****. PFFF. Jiang Juong and the other elders exploded and even spat out blood when they saw Fairy Imu before them. This be ****ch. As they guessed, the so-called signal they saw earlier was her escaping and leaving them behind, so she didn't even bother alerting them about the dangers here and headed back to the fortress instead. Even though they were far weaker compared to her, that still didn't mean they would take it kindly when someone disregards their life and death. Technically, she was only paid to take care of old Fru, Chu Che, and a few others, so she had no obligation to alert them about anything. But you see, all this would have been okay if she had actually done her job. Boss Chu and the brat were still alive, so what right did she have to leave them behind? They were fuming mad. However, little did they know that Fairy Imu and her goons were also fuming mad too. They stared coldly at the bastards before them, wanting nothing more than to rip them to pieces. Who was it that said that old Fru was the strongest existence in Wanji Town? Because of all the information they also heard about Wanji Town when coming here, they readily believed Jiang Juong's info. After all, since he wanted old Fru and the rest dead, he wouldn't try to hide their strength or lie, right? Again, the greedy merchants that frequently did business with those from Wanji Town hurriedly told all they knew about the Ace too. So Fairy Imu, who arrived, was more engrossed with absorbing evil chi from the cursed demonic finger that Jiang Juong gave her. But who would have known that even after increasing her strength to a certain degree, she would still be beaten and stripped by some shameless puppets. Damn it! If she didn't have spare clothes in her storage ring, wouldn't she make her way back to the fortress naked? This was the most embarrassing day of her life. So how could she not be pissed off at these vagabonds? If they didn't give her a sense of belief that old Fru was the strongest existence, would she have ended up getting stripped like so? This was truly a rare case because from all her startup missions, when she just joined the organization, most, if not all desolate towns and villages rarely had any influential figures staying in them. And even if they did, most hermits weren't concerned with the mandate problems in the world. They usually stayed in isolation and cultivated non-stop until they ascended. So why were some hermits here actively making their moves? This was all out of the ordinary. Typically, a mission like this should be successful, whether they did their background research or not. She was at the second dan of the spirit realm. That was the spirit realm. So who here would be stronger than her? Common sense says that places like these would even struggle to have people past the ninth dan of the true Qi realm. So what was all this? If Juang knew that there was someone in the spirit realm here, he would never make any money or even invite people from her organizations to do anything. Yes, she assumed that the creator of those puppets should be spirit realm cultivators higher and stronger than herself, since their puppets were also ridiculously strong too. In all her 514 years of existence, she had never been so utterly humiliated and wronged in her entire life. Damn it! Looking at Juang, she so badly wanted to use her famous Tyndall wind cloud skill to suck the bastard's vitality dry. But she knew that she couldn't make a move toward any of the clients, especially those who constantly paid assassin protection fees, which basically meant that no one from their organization could kill the client. Another organization might make a move on the client, but not her organization. And Juang paid that yearly. That's also one of the reasons why he stayed alive for so long. Juang had a lot of enemies, so he didn't mind paying a certain amount to keep him alive. For a moment, Imu was tempted to back a move and damn the consequences. But she dared not try because she too would get hunted to the ends of the lower realm. Now, what was important was that she reported the matter to her organization. As for the humiliation she received, Imu swore that she would one day get her revenge. Just like that, Imu and the Juang bandits were left in a terrible dilemma, while Wonji Town, on the other hand, was cheering hard in celebration of their first victory. To some, this was their first battle ever, while to others, even though it wasn't their first, it had truly been a long time since anything happened in the town. So this victory also made them proud and excited too. Ru Moyen and a few other newbies who participated in the battle couldn't help cheering up and feeling overly pumped up. Ha 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 ha. We did it. We protected Wonji Town. Awesome. I didn't know I was this powerful. Heh. What powerful? You got transported back 5 breaths when the battle began. But at least I made him sweat. In 5 breaths. Everyone was still fully immersed in their job when suddenly, a message echoed across the town. Safe mode deactivated. Townsfolk can resume their regular lives again. All takers, stand by to receive your rewards in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ding. Rewards received. Safe mode deactivated. Townsfolk can resume their regular lives again. All takers, stand by to receive your rewards in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ding. Rewards received. BRRMM. Instantly, every tasker was immersed in an orange-yellowish light that looked like heat flames. Subconsciously, they then closed their eyes as if welcoming this strange phenomenon. No one knew what was going on, but they could tell that it was indeed a good thing. Power. 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 Yes. An overflow wave of pure qi flowed into their bodies, causing them to tremble slightly. As if watching a movie, the images of their battle instantly replayed in their minds. And when their last battle image flashed by, the strange light disappeared completely. Everyone opened their eyes and stood in a daze, frozen in time. Silence. This.
What?
How? They were made utterly speechless of what had just transpired. Only the qi that circulated them alone made them get goosebumps all over. F*******. That sort of qi was too your to belong to the lower realm, all right? Ha. Ha 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 ha. No one knew who started laughing, but everyone joined in celebration too. Ha 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 ha. Ah! Like fools, some dropped to their knees and screamed at the top of their voices, while others jumped high up in the air, performing different stunts. Some remained standing, while trembling from the wave of energy they felt within them. I broke through. I'm now at the second dan of the true Chi realm. Ha 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 ha. Oh, this is the happiest day of my life. Mr. Bandits, come back. Please come back anytime. Our doors will always be open to you. Damn it. If I knew it, I would have been more careful and lasted longer before getting transported out. F*******. Do you know when more enemies will come here? How can we convince them to attack again? _ It was at this moment that Chu Che realized that he was living with idiots. System. Are you sure that this is okay? Host. Of course it is. Isn't it better than them and many other townsfolk dying in the hands of the bandits? Chu Che thinned his lips helplessly. Even if he agreed, the scene still looked strange, all right? Regardless of what he thought, everyone else, whether they had been teleported away or managed to stay so long on the battlefield, all had broad smiles on their faces when they looked at their rewards. Firstly, they got more points than converted into chi, which made some breakthrough instantly. Some were now at the second dan, third, fourth, and so on, while others just got stronger within the same dan. Nonetheless, they found that the rewards varied depending on how many points they racked up. Some got points equivalent to the number of points they typically got after 2 days in the gaming hall, which shocked them. Of course, they knew they only got higher things because of Boss Chu. They weren't fools. If they fought other enemies now, they would never be able to level up and have this many points. So it can be seen that the points were probably generated and given by Boss Chu. After all, they had personally seen him create the mission hall and had also gotten rewards from missions too. So they could only say that all this came from him. But this was also a shocking thing. Who could just dish out more chi or give out rewards just like that? What level of power is Boss Chu really at? Maybe he belonged to the realm above the knowledge of they, who was born in the lower realm, because they only knew of the lower, ordinary, and upper realms. But legend says that there are way more realms than these three. So could it be that Boss Chu was actually from another realm? After thinking about it, many felt that it was impossible. After all, many in the town knew of Chu Che, with some who even saw him when he was born. So they were sure that he belonged here. That meant that his master must have been a legendary being to be able to produce such a student. They had also heard that his mother, father, and late grandfather were all very gifted people too. So he was no doubt a genius. Yes, all these things added up in this way. But why did they feel like there was more to it than what meets the eyes? Who, or rather, what mysterious identity does Boss Chu have behind closed doors? This was the real mystery. Everyone felt highly pleased with the points they had from the battle. Again, they also got a 6-hour free pass for successfully killing or pushing the enemy away, keeping Wonji Town safe. Well, it looked like this was all for the rewards. But that's where many would be wrong. Some also looked at their cards and realized that they got an additional reward too. Hidden mission reward? Was there a hidden mission that they weren't aware of? Nianzu, Tsongai, and many others tapped the message that popped up on their cards and were shocked by the message that popped out. Congratulations, Tasker the Greatest Elder, for completing the hidden mission. Hidden mission. Successfully use any of the skills learned in the gaming hall to injure or destroy the enemy. Tasker used Lord Raiden's lightning steps and thunder of justice during battle. Kill count using the attacks, 32. Injure count, 6. Rewards, 7 vouchers for free popcorn or free energy drink. Popcorn. Energy drink. What's that? With the battle over, Chu Che quickly finished up his mission tasks so that he could move on to One Piece. That's right. Last night, he got the system's notification saying a total of 300 people have chosen or started doing missions. The requirement for his primary mission was to get 80 people to take up tasks. But it seems the live broadcasting he did 2 days ago had stimulated several people to also take their families for registration. After all, the bags of money would make their living standards easier. And so, with one of his primary mission requirements done, he decided to grow the remaining building needed. The last building he had to erect was a viewing and simulator hall before he could complete his mission. He had pushed this one to the last minute because even if it were created earlier on, no one would use it since he had to get at least 80 people to take up tasks for his main mission to get completed. Today, he had planned to get all this up after spending his required time in the gaming hall. But who would have known that his plans would get disrupted by the flying lady and her goons of street performers? Worse, there was also a battle too. One shouldn't forget that he was still the young town lord. So after the battle, apart from reassuring the townsfolk that went into hiding, he also had to talk to Old Fru about countermeasures, whether they should head towards the bandit fortress and stack or not. For now, they decided not to do anything yet, since they didn't know if other powerful forces were there. So they only send top spies to stay around and monitor for a while. Chu-Che decided to send his hidden shadows to do the job. Of course, they would also be wearing the presence-canceling artifacts that his mother left before she got taken away. But it was important that the spies didn't go into the fortress. It's unfortunate, but apart from Old Fru and Chu-Che, these 9th Dan hidden shadow guards were the strongest among Chu-Che's forces. So even if their presence wasn't noticed, those with way higher cultivation levels would get a certain instinct and feeling within them, promoting them to start searching. It was the case when those old cult people tried leaving Wanji town. Even though they couldn't see anything after their search, they still felt uneasy about it all. Someone with way more experience, like that flying lady, would trust her instincts rather than trust what she could or could not see. And when that happens, they might get discovered. That's why he only told them to watch the bandit movement from a safe distance. Of course, after a while, they'll head back to Wanji town. Sigh, all this had really eaten up his time. At least now, he could finally erect the viewing and simulator hall. Thinking about it more, Chu-Che didn't want this new hall to be too far away from the gaming hall. At the same time, he also wanted it to be close to the mission hall. So he and Old Fru searched for a while before arriving at an empty plot space on the way. And once again, he grew the viewing and simulator hall from the ground like flowers. Rumble. The 2-story moderate-sized glass building stood firm for all to see. And instantly, an alert came up on everyone's screen yet again. Viewing and simulator hall? TSK. It looks like today was a day filled with too many surprises. From the battle rewards to now this. How could they not get excited? On their maps, the location popped up as an image of the building floated on it. Again, they opened the building tab on their cards and read about it. The rules and time of operation were very similar to that of the gaming hall. The only thing was that a person could only use the viewing section of the hall for at most one new session, meaning they can only watch one new movie/episode a day. Anything they had already watched could be repeated and watched as many times as they wanted, but they could only watch one new thing a day. As for the simulator part, they could at most spend 6 hours a day. All right, many things intrigued them about it, but they would just have to wait until tomorrow. Ding. Congratulations, my darling host, on completing your main mission. Plop. The system popped onto his shoulder, shocking him silly. Who are you? Chu-Che looked at the female avatar in confusion. But soon, it changed back to the male avatar he was used to. Host. This system doesn't have what you all call gender. It can be anything, depending on the host's preference. It can even be a cat if the host likes. Chu-Che thinned his lips thoughtfully before shaming his head in refusal. No, I'm already used to our current avatar. So if you change to a tiger, elephant, or even a girl, I'll always feel as if you're wearing some mask. Noted, my darling host. The system said after changing back to his original avatar, while wearing blue beach shorts, a flowery shirt, and a lovely sun hat with grass slippers. Was he trying to go to the beach? Forget it. Chu-Che looked at his rewards and smiled broadly. He had been awarded popcorn and an energy drink with a weird name called Cleanser. He had also been awarded the first 40 episodes of One Piece. And finally, he was given a new pavilion, which will have cultivation manuals, mangas, on the first 40 episodes of One Piece, as well as cultivation manuals on Majira and Kratos moves within the Prison of the Damned. Damn, this was good. Chu-Che beamed with joy after getting his rewards. Now he had to focus on where to put the pavilion, and he would be good to go. Seeing the empty space beside the viewing and simulator hall, Chu-Che acted swiftly. System, I want to place the pavilion here. Ding. Request denied. Host, please look for a bigger space. Chu-Che rubbed his chin thoughtfully. As expected, he was turned down by the system. It would have been great if he could place it next to the viewing and simulator hall, but now it seemed impossible. Of course, when one hears the word pavilion, one thinks of this giant, glorious structure similar to the mission hall. So it only made sense that the space would be too small. Well, he was just trying his luck. Just like that, Chu-Che returned to the large empty plots of land next to the mission hall. This region should work. He didn't want the building to be rubbing shoulders with the mission hall. So he spaced them out so that the majesty and beauty of each building could be well admired. System, I want it here. Ding. Space accepted. Rumble. The ground shook yet again, making those who were watching the scene near the mission gall tremble as their legs wobbled considerably. What was going on here? Of course, their confusion didn't last long because in the next second, they saw a large building sprout out of the ground like a flower. Graus zero graus. This. Could this be the legendary story they all heard about? Many had heard how Boss Chu liked to pop out buildings from the ground. So they had heard of this before and only held satisfaction and appreciation for Chu-Che's skills. But now, seeing it firsthand was a whole new matter that left them in awe. Ding. Many far away once again got a message for the emergence of the pavilion. Wait, 2 new buildings in one day? What the hell was going on here? Now, everyone clicked the building tab, wanting to know what the building was about. Of course, the word Park Pavilion explained it all. But what they were curious about was what manuals or secrets were stored within this pavilion. All right, now they wanted tomorrow to come fast. Chu-Che looked at the building before him and was pleasantly surprised. The building structure looked like an hourglass. The structure shone brightly and looked like 2 diamond-looking pyramids joined together by their tips. And the cool thing about it was that only the lower part of the hourglass building was stationary. The upper part seemed to be rotating instead. How fascinating! Chu-Che was very intrigued by the building's design. Again, on the building were the words Park Pavilion. And of course, the rules for the building were there too. The hours of operation were similar to that of the gaming hall. But now they were charged per book taken out. All right, that was it for his rewards. Tomorrow, Wonji Town will be immersed in yet another wave of current. As for the popcorn and cleanser energy drink, they'll now be sold in all park buildings. There are vending machines all across the place to cater to this. But the trick is that everyone can only eat these things once a day. So they had to choose wisely whether they wanted to eat it when watching a movie, when playing games, or when doing anything else. Of course, there's also a new rule in all buildings that anyone who recommends anyone else to try any new activity will get a voucher for free food or drink. 2 recommendations get additional food or drinks from what their daily minimum is. Chu-Che finished going through everything and was thoroughly satisfied. With these out of the way, it was time for him to see what new missions the system had assigned to him. A main mission. Get 500 people to watch at least 1 episode of One Piece. Sell 400 manuals from the Park Pavilion. And get 100 people to spend time in the simulator rooms. A mission rewards. Dark Souls RPG game. Greater than 50 more computers and virtual reality headsets, and 30 more cinema seats. The Avengers, the movie. Comics, cultivation manuals, on Dark Souls and Avenger characters. A mission deadline, none. A mission punishment, none. Chu-Che blinked in glee. Ha 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 ha. So soon, he would be able to see the incredible Hulk smash Loki. Yet again? Wonderful. But first, he had to complete his new missions. Tomorrow, he planned to watch One Piece with a few others. So why not invite them? After the battle, Bo Su, Ru Moyen, Little Lulu, and a few others had left for the mission they picked up in the mission hall. So he kept them out, deciding to invite Old Fru, Nianzu, and Songai to the movies with him. Blup. The moment the trio saw their names tagged in some comment, they quickly read through it before jumping up excitedly. The greatest elder. Ha 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 ha. Boss Chu say no more. I'll be there first thing tomorrow morning. The powerful Taoist. How can I reject Boss Chu's request? I too want to know what this new hall offers. Old Fru, young master. No need to ask. I will always accompany you. The trio readily accepted the request, which made Chu Che happy. After all, it would be fun to watch it with everyone. Unbeknownst to him, his request had sparked a great wave of intrigue and curiously online. What? Boss Chu is personally going to watch some strange thing? I have to be there too. That's right. If Boss Chu is there, then I have to go in as well. First thing in the morning, I'll be there in that new hall. If Boss Chu is there, then it means that it's something good. And so, just like that, many had become increasingly aware of these strange new halls. Tomorrow, they'll definitely feed their eyes to the fullest.